Hello students, welcome back to the SHM online learning platform. I Kirti Sharma, working as an assistant professor in St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Gurugram. Today in the lecture series of the design and analysis of algorithms, we will discuss the single source shortest path. There are two algorithms that we will discuss under this topic, Dijkstra's algorithm and Bellman-Ford algorithm. So let's start with the concept of the single source shortest path. First, we have to discuss here about the shortest path problem. If we have a graph G which consists of vertices and edges, and it is a weighted graph where the function all edges has a mapping in order to create the real valued weights. So, in order mapping of the edges with the weights. So, there are lots of paths that are having the weights for each and to connect the each and every vertices of that graph with the help of edges. So we can define this all total weights of the constituent edges with this formula. W stands for weight, and this is summation is the sum of all the weights of vertices. So vi minus 1 vi. For example, vertex 0 v vertex 1. Any edges exist in between the two vertices and multiplied by with its weight. So like that, if we have four vertices v0, v1, v2, v3, right? This is the graph. So what we have to write here, like some weightages are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So v0, v1. What is the weight? 1. Then plus, we can write it this particular formula is like this, like 1 into v0 v1, vertex v0 and v1 having the weight, vertex weight 1, plus what is the vertex v1 v2, 2 into v1 v2, and sum on of contain all the constituent edges in the graph, right? So first thing that we need here in the shortest path, weight from u to v. This transition symbol is showing you the path from u. U is any vertex, v is any vertex here, right? And we have to find out the minimum weight in while moving from u to v. If there are multiple paths from u to v, then we have to find out the path with the minimum weight, right? So transition of u to v, by default we have to assign it to the infinity. We don't know how much cost or how much time it will take to travel from u point to v point, right? So we are assuming it with the infinity, right? The shortest path from S is a vertex any to the vertex T, S to T, then is defined as any path P from with the weight WP having some weight like transition from S to T. Like if we are moving from S vertex to T vertex, then if we are moving from S vertex to T vertex, it consists of some weightage here. So it's indicating the simple thing here. So this is a introductory part or theory part regarding the shortest path algorithm. Now next we have the shortest path is okay. We have to find out the path with the shortest weight, edge weight among all the parallelly paths available in the graph. But something that could exist in order to find out the shortest path is if some path from S to V contains a negative cost cycle, then there does not exist the shortest path, right? That is the main key point in order to find out the shortest path. It may possible negative cost cycle may occur in the graph while we are moving from one node to the another node. So if it is there, then there is no there does not exist the shortest path. Otherwise there exists a shortest path S to V, that we will see in the example. Okay, so what about the negative weight edges? Weighted graph, of course we have a edge weight, that means it's a weighted graph, then in which total weight of an edge is negative. If a graph has a negative edge, then it produces a chain. It will repeatedly do the same thing in a loop that will never ending loop that may create a problem. After executing the chain, if the output is negative, then it will go up to the minus infinity in the loop itself, and that will be the that will like condition get discarded here. So weight is less than the negative or minus negative, we cannot have the shortest path in it if we are having this kind of scenario like negative weight edges, right? Negative or cycle or negative edge weight we are getting, and repeatedly it's doing subtraction in a loop, and it creating a chain for that type of path like graph. We cannot find out the shortest path. Okay, so if the output is negative, then both the conditions are discarded. First condition, infinity, negative in the infinity is discarded, and not less than 0, it should not be less than 0. If any edge weight is negative in a graph, then these both the things will be discarded, like minus negative, and it should not be the less than 0. If it is going less than 0, then it's not possible to find out the shortest path here. That is the meaning of the negative weight edge. Now we will discuss the same thing with the help of example here. This is a graph that is shown here. Some edge weights are negative here like this, -4, -3, -6. These are the negative edge weights are there, right? So we have to start here. We have to start here with the first point, that is beginning from S point. From S point, S stands for source. We are taking, assuming it as like that. Now, beginning with the S, we have to check it out all the adjacent of the S. This one, and this one. These three are the adjacents of the S, right? So, A, C, E. I'm assuming it as A, this is C, and this is E, right? This one. So these three are the adjacents here, right? So weight from S to A is 3. As we know, S to A is weight 3. So here source value is indicated here 0, and here it is written as 3. Why? Because 3 is the distance from this S to A. So that's why I have written it here 3, right? So suppose we want to calculate a path from S to C, from S to C, this side. So we have two paths weights. So how it is two paths weights? First one is S to C is equals to 5. S to C equals to 5 here, right? S to C to D, if we are going there, like I'm just mentioning here, S to C, C to D, and again coming back to the D to C, right? So this may also possible from C to S to C. There are two paths. Directly you can come with the edge weight of the 5. Either this side is okay, otherwise 5 S to C 5 and 5 to 6 11, and I have mentioned here the weight, then 11 minus 3, that will become 8. So which one is the minimum? Of course 5 is the minimum value, so we will not take this one, we will take this path as a final, right? So S to C, we have selected this particular edge because it's minimum. In the next step, what we have here, S to E. What about the S to E? Next, S to E. Same diagram I have here mentioned here, S to E. We have already discussed, we have selected this path and this path. Now what about this one? We have already mentioned it, the negative. Why is it so? Because if nothing is if we have not seen as anything, then it's assumed as a infinity. S to E, we have 2 as a edge weight. One path, this is possible. Another path, what could be there? There are two paths, no? S to E, E to F, then F to E again. This is also one path available here. So directly 2 is there. Now we have to check it out for this one. 2, then again 2 to 3 here, 5, and then 5 to minus 6 is minus 1. It's coming negative value here. Now we have to check the it is discarding the condition, minus 1 is less than 0. So if we execute this chain, like 2 plus 3 5, 5 minus 6 minus 1, 5 plus 5 plus minus 6 is minus 1. Again it will repeat. no, it will not stop here at the -1. Again it will repeat -1 plus 3 -2, -2 plus 3. Yeah, from here it will come like -2, -2 plus 3 1, then again 1 minus 6 1, like it will repeat negatively up to minus negative. So it will not stop over here on the -1. First thing, if we are getting -1, we will check the condition, it is discarded. If we again, it will go into the loop and it will decrement it up to the infinity. So we, in that case, we have already mentioned, if the value or weight that we are getting is less than 0 and it's going to minus infinity, in that case we cannot find the shortest path. That's why we mentioned it, like from S to E there is a infinity options or path. So this effect of the negative weights, creating of the negative weight cycle on the shortest path weight, is shown here with the help of this example. Because there is only one path from S to A, that is good. Like here it's also creating the negative weight cycle for the C case, and for E also it's creating the negative weight cycle. So it's the best path to track from S to A here with the edge weight 3, because there is no any negative edge weight cycle here, right? So this was the negative edge weight cycle. Next we have seen the example, same thing we have mentioned here, like how it's proceeding, and like minus up to minus infinity -3, and it's repeating up to the minus infinity. That's why we are the condition is discarded. So up to now we have discussed about the negative edge weight cycle here, right? So how it is affecting in order to find out the shortest path. So this is not possible to find the shortest path in case of the negative edge weight cycle. Like if we are simply doing this with the help of by traversing from vertex to vertex by finding the minimum weight. So it's a drawback or it's a problem here that we will discuss later how it is resolved. Of course it is resolved with the help of some algorithms. So we will discuss this later in the Bellman-Ford algorithm that helps a lot in sorting out this problem. Before that we will discuss the Dijkstra problem. So one more thing about it, like if we have the three vertices here and having the negative weight cycle with the minus infinity, and they are also not reachable by the source node, in that case also we can say, like it's also problem that is not possible to find out the shortest weight. If this kind of situation create, then also it's not possible negative weight, and source node it's not reachable because it will repeat it again and again up to minus infinity. So that's a problem with it. Now one concept, one very interesting concept comes into the consideration here. The single source shortest path is based on the relaxation technique. What it is actually, it repeatedly decreases an upper bound on actual shortest path weight of each vertex, and it will do the same process until the upper bound becomes equal to the shortest path weight. What it is, there are vertices, lots of vertices that belongs to the set of vertices here, and that maintains the attribute d of v. D of v is stands for distance from moving one vertex to the another vertex. So it's a shortest path estimation, we can say. Okay, so d of v is the shortest path estimation. So there is a procedure here, like to initialize a single source. So G is a graph, S is a starting point. For each vertex in that graph, we have the which there should be all the vertices of the graph, right? And do like put all the shortest path estimation as a infinity. Let's consider it. Okay, so this is the path that we are traversing, and that we are taking here in starting as a nil, and d of s is a source point distance or estimation path is 0 itself. So we are considering it at the initial point. Now in further thing, what we will do after initialization, like we will traverse from one vertex to another vertex from the source node and subtract the edge weight, right? In order to improve, like either we can improve it or not. Like if it is any vertex is by default having the infinity path or edge weight or like distance estimation from the source node. Now we have to focus on that thing, like we reduce that particular value, like can we eliminate can we just replace this infinity with the smaller value? If it is possible, then we are relaxing that edge. So relaxation means we are decreasing the weight or decreasing the shortest path estimation value. If it is possible, then do the relaxation, otherwise move on. Like if we are going from u to v, there are u is any vertex, v any vertex. You having the 5 estimation, so shortest path estimation, and from u to v, like v from the source, v is having the 9. So with the edge weight of the 2, it's possible to traverse it with up to v with the 7 shortest path estimation. So it's possible here. So we will consider this path. So this kind of thing, like we can reduce this 9 shortest path estimation with to the 7. So this type of thing is known as relaxation of the edge. So we have to further check it out thoroughly, like can we reduce it, can we do the relaxation further, can we do the relaxation further, and it will repeat until and unless there is no any option to further do the relaxation in the edge weight, right? So this is a relaxation that we will use in further algorithm also. So I hope it is clear. Next, there are some conditions mentioned here, like if v of d, v is any vertex, u is any vertex, and we are doing the, like after adding the weight, if it is getting like greater than prior to the relaxation, what will be the condition? Like v of v like estimation value shortest path of v will decrease. Of course it will decrease. Like if it is less than, then what will happen? Before relaxing the edge, relaxation step leaves v, like it will leaves v of d unchanged if it is less than this particular sum. If it is not less than, it is greater than, then it will decrease the value of v vertex, right? Same here, like if we are doing like 5 plus 2, that is 7, already its value is 6. So it's what we are doing, 5 plus 2 7, that is greater than 6. Already there is a minimum value, then we will it will remain unchanged, we will not change it, it will remain as it is after relaxation. If this value, let's assume this value is 8, let's assume this value is 8, and after 5 plus 2 you are getting 7, then now you will do the relaxation in the value of, at the place of 8 you have to write the 7. If it is already less, then you have to take it as it is, there is no any need to change. It's all about this thing, right? So next thing is Dijkstra algorithm. Now what about the Dijkstra? Dijkstra is also based on the greedy approach algorithm that is used to solve the single shortest path problem for a directed graph. So with the non-negative edge weights only, it's possible to apply the Dijkstra algorithm. It's a, you can say like key point here, you cannot apply the Dijkstra algorithm for on negative edge weights. It's a drawback of the Dijkstra algorithm, right? So but all for all non-negative edge weights, you can apply it and you can find out the single source shortest path with the help of all positive edge weights by applying the Dijkstra's algorithm, right? So there are some in the algorithm, there is a need to maintain the set S is a set of vertices that are available in the graph and whose final shortest pathways from source S have already been determined. Like we have considered it and like infinity, and we have to move from one vertex to another vertex, and whatever is the distance we have covered, we have to subtract it from the source path, right? So that is because like we are doing relaxation in the edge when we are leaving the previous vertex, right? So because it also choose the lightest or closest vertex in the vertex S, that's why we have seen the, like I always seen the adjacent vertices, right? So into the set S, it is called a greedy strategy because we are not moving directly on the we are not covering directly the largest path, we are just covering the smallest path from where we are getting the maximum benefit, or we are from where we have to cover, like we have to cover the lesser distance in order to move from one vertex to the another vertex. So this is a greedy type strategy in the Dijkstra algorithm. So that's why it's also a greedy strategy based algorithm in order to find out the shortest path of a graph. So this is an algorithm of the like Dijkstra algorithm, how you can initialize a single source. G is graph, S is a source vertex, or from where you are starting. In starting you are applying it like null. So 5, that means empty. If you're on a source node and you're starting from there, have you covered any distance? No, it's a starting point only. That's why we have written here null. We have to reach up to the queue, right? So what we have done, like next vertex, we have to choose from the various vertices that are given in a graph. So we have to choose the queue here. We have to check the condition, like is it null or not. If it is null, then you have to extract the minimum. Like if there are lots of vertices, adjacent vertices are available, then you have to extract the vertex queue among all these three vertices. Like let's assume these are the three adjacents. We have to extract the vertex queue with the minimum edge weight from here, right? After connecting it, you have to add that queue as a selected vertex u, and you have to add it into the S set, that is the set of vertices, right? For each and every vertex, you have to check the adjacent values and you have to do the relaxation. If it is less than, this path is lesser, then you have to consider it. Otherwise, you will check for all, whatever is giving the relaxation, much relaxation, you have to proceed for that only, right? So what is the analysis here? If you're running, what is the running time of the Dijkstra algorithm on a graph, which consists of E edge and V vertices, that can be expressed as a function of a number of edges and vertices. Like you can say, using the big O notation, you can simply show this. What is a Dijkstra algorithm stores the vertices of the queue, set Q, in an ordinary linked list or array. Like in order to operate, like extract the minimum edge weight by following the linear search approach, because we have to traverse each and every vertices, right? So by following the linear search approach, we can directly find out the minimum edge weight next vertex that we have to traverse, right? So for storage purpose, it will use the linked list or array. Anyone can be proceed. So in this case, the running time will be like v square. V square is vertices and edges where we are taking here edge e. If we are doing the linear search, performing here and apply traversing each and every vertex here, and we are selecting the minimum one from here, right? So for that purpose, we are using the v square and plus e here. So we you can say here v is the vertices and edges we have to take without any loop here na. So vertex minus 1 will be should be edges there. So if you are writing v minus 1, so what it is actually, this is constant part, you can write this v as a e or whatever. So v plus 1, like if we are we are taking not plus, multiply here number of vertices and number of edges, if we are putting this, so it will become v square na. So directly we can write it's the order of v square. That is the running time of the Dijkstra algorithm. So each and every time you are moving from the source node and you are checking out the all the adjacent metric vertices and selecting the vertex adjacent vertex with the minimum edge weight. So in that purpose, for that purpose, we have to traverse the edge with respect to each and every vertex. So we have to select the minimum one. For this purpose, we have some V and we have to traverse some V and E vertices and edges. If we have to check the combination of them, and we will find like V square times. We have as an order of V square as a running time of the Dijkstra algorithm. So let's take an example to get the clarity about it. So this is an example here. Graph is given to you. Step 1, you have to check out the Q. Capital Q is a set. How many vertices are there? Total vertices. As P, X, Y, Z. There are 5 vertices that I have mentioned to here. Now we have to scan, like if you are getting the same type of the question regarding the shortest single source shortest path, or there are two different topics like minimum cost spanning tree. This is the different thing. Both are optimization problem, greedy approach based, but concept is totally different. So no need to confuse. If you're getting the same question in the exam also, so you have to just follow the sequence as a step by step. You have to mention each and every step in order to give the answer. So no need to write the directly anything directly. It may wrong or it will not give you you will not be able to get the best marks accordingly. So just follow the sequence or steps in order to write the answer of the question, right? So step 1, we have all taken all the vertices here in the set Q. Now we have to scan the vertices one by one, find the adjacent vertices and calculate the distance of each adjacent from the source S, right? Now we make a stack here. So in order to store the vertices, whatever we have chosen, taken, and whatever is left, in order to find out compute the shortest distance. Firstly, we have taken the S as in the stack. So we have taken the S in a stack here, right? So stack name is M and S is the source name here we are taking, right? So in the stack M, what we have taken S. So what is the left in the queue set? S is already traversed, so we can remove S from the queue here. Now 4 nodes are just over here, right? Left over here. So what about the next thing here? Now we have to move on to find out the adjacent. How many adjacent vertices are there? 2 adjacent vertices. It is having the 10 weight, it is having the 5 weight, right? So we have the 2 adjacent vertices, adjacent of S is T and Y. Now we have to move on the third, like for this case 2, for the step 2 we have cases. First case is S to T. If we are moving from S to T, this path we are covering. What is the weight here? 10, right? So we have initialized S with the 0 and we have the 10 weight here, right? Now we have to check it out. The estimation path of the D of V, that is 10 here. Is it greater than D of U plus weight of the UV? That is D of U is 0. Here U value is S, and from S to T, weight, what is the weight? 10. 0 plus 10 is 10. This what is the value of this D of V here? Right now, initially we have mentioned it infinity. After taking this path, then we will replace this infinity with the 10 because it is less than. If it is less than, then we will replace it. So we will replace it with this infinity is greater than. Yes, it is greater than. Condition is false. Now what we have to do, like this D of T, we have to replace it with the 10, right? And what will be the 5 pi of T is a 5. That means this part. Now we will see this, like S to Y, second possibility, that is 5 with the value of 5. So now again we have to check D of V. In starting it was infinity. Now we are seeing here 0 is the starting value and plus weight is a 5. 0 plus 5 is a 5. This is also false condition. Now replace the D of Y, this infinity, with the 5 as we have already done it. Darkened path showed you the, like we have already traversed these things, right? Rather than drawing separately for each and every step, I have just concluded it into a single diagram, but you have to show it separately step by step. Okay, so now next we have to compare case 1 and case 2, these two cases. Like if we are moving from S to T, we are getting 10, and if we are moving S to Y, we are getting 5. Which one is shortest? Of course this one is shortest. So Y is assigned the 5. Like we have to select this path from here. S to Y we have to select, right? Next case step is, now if we have selected the Y from steps 2, now we have to trace it out, like what are the adjacent of the Y itself. Now what are the adjacent of the Y? Now adjacent of Y are 3 adjacent, this T again, X and Z. So I have mentioned here T, X, Z. Now again we have to check for all the 3 cases, Y to T, Y to X and Y to Z. So we have to traverse it, like D to V. Again we have to check, is it greater than or not? What is the D to V right now? So V is a value of T here, right? What is the V value of T? Because we have already discussed, we have not considered the T here 10. We have to consider this path. So leftover path, whatever is remaining is S to T that we have left in the previous step. Now we have to consider here, this is already 10. We have replaced it, like this is already 10, right? Now we have to check it out here. This is 10. D of Y is 5 that we have selected. What is the weight here? 3. To go from Y to 3. So 5 plus 3 is 8. If we are moving this path S to Y and Y to T, it is giving 8. And if we are directly moving S to T, it is given 10. So what we will consider, of course, this just wait. Of course this 10 will be replaced by 8 because this path is giving the much better, like less value. So we have to replace each and every time. So it will replaced by this value 8. Its condition is true and it is replaced, right? So next we have to check Y to X and again Y to Z. Same thing you have to perform, and if it is greater than, you have if it is, you are getting the minimum value, then you have to change that value, otherwise move on. Like this will become 8, so giving the lesser value. So next approach we will select the T to s to y, y to x. What it is giving here? 5 plus 9 is 14, right? So 5 plus 9 is 14, and next 5 plus 2 is 7. So what is left? Smaller value, of course this one is smaller, so we will select next vertex as a z. So s to y, y to z. Next is selected as a 7z. Now in the first step, what we will do, we will find the adjacent of the z. What are the adjacent of z? Of course, s is the adjacent, yes, and x is the adjacent. So we have x and s. So we further divided into the two sub cases. So for z to x, what we have, we again check it out here, like what if it is less than or not. So z to, if we are checking z to x, up to now what is the path here, value here? 7. Now if we are moving here, 7 plus 6 is 13, and we have already checked it out, like from y, if we are checking it out in the previous tab, if we are moving it like s to y is 5, 5 to x is 14. So previously it was 14, now we are getting 13. So that's why we have replaced this with the 13, because we are getting the lesser value here. So at each and every step we have to check it out and find out the value and replace it. When we are getting the lesser value, then replace that value. If you are getting the greater value, then no need to change the value. Whatever is the previous value, leave it as it is, right? So in the fourth step, we are getting the 13. Now we have to replace this value 14 with the 13 as we have replaced here, right? What is the next thing here? As z to s, right? 5 to 5 plus 2, 7. 7 plus 7 is 14, right? But there is a problem here. It's a greater than 0. Yes, this condition does not satisfy, so it will be discarded here. Now we have to take the x equals to 13. Now what should be the next vertex after z? Of course, x should be the next vertex. So we have selected what path? 5 s to y, y to z, and z to x. Up to now we have covered this much part. Now we are on the x. Now what will be our next step? Step number 5. Now we have to traverse like adjacent of t. Now why we have to find the adjacent of t here? Again, because of what? We have false condition here, and we have again coming on the source node. That's the reason now we have to, after selecting this particular path, in order to select the t, because each and every vertex of the graph must be covered. There is no any path from x to t. That's why we cannot take x as an adjacent, because there is no any adjacent to the t with the help of x. So we will take t as a vertex, and we will find the adjacent of t as a x and y. That we have to consider here, right? Because next what we have considered, we have already covered it up to now here. If we are taking x, what are the adjacent of x? Just no need to confuse, just see it over here. If we are getting this x, what is the adjacent of x? Only one, this one, z. What will be there? Like 5 plus 2, 7, 7 plus 6, 13, 16, 13 plus 4, 17. It is already less now, so no need to just check it out, change it. So it will remain as it is. So no any path. So we have left here with the 5 plus 3, 8. Now again we will check. Up to now we have checked each and everything. Now this vertex we have checked, this vertex we have checked, this one is also checked, this one is also checked. Now what is left over here? T is left over here. So we have to check to do the cross check for this also. So take the T vertex, take the adjacent as a y and x. We have to check the sub cases here. For x, we are getting the 9 value, right? How is it possible? 5 plus 3, 8. 8 plus 1, 9. And already 13 is there. Now we have to replace the 13 with the 9. Yes. Again, we will check for the y also. Two paths are there. Na? 5 plus 3, 8. 8 plus 2, 10. 5 is already less than, so no need to change it. Right? So we will discard it. So here it will change only. Now we have checked for each and everything. Yes. Now what we have the final resultant as a like this. This is a darkened position. We have selected the path s to y, y to t, t to x, and y to z. All the vertices are covered, and we are at the last. We are with the shortest path. So we have designed this dark path as like this in order to find out the final shortest path. Now we have the weight from source node to the each and every vertex from s to y. What is the shortest path that you can cover? 5. From source to z, each and every vertex we have to trace from the source node only, right? From S to Z, what is the shortest path? S to Z, of course 7. 5 plus 2, 7. So 7 we have mentioned here, 7. Source node to the T. Source node to the T. What is the shortest path? We have mentioned over here 8. That is 5 plus 3, 8. So each and every vertex having the shortest path from the source node itself is the main task of this particular algorithm of Dijkstra algorithm. But there is a disadvantage also of the it was all about the Dijkstra algorithm that we have discussed with the help of example. And what about the disadvantage? There is a blind search. Actually, we have to check it out for each and every vertex, and each and every time we are checking it out and replacing it if we are getting lesser value. Otherwise, do continue it for the all the vertices, right? So we are doing the blind search here. That is more time consuming process, and it cannot help the negative edge weights. So it leads to the acyclic graph also, but often cannot obtain the right shortest path. It may possible, like it there will be a wrong like we are not with the right shortest path. So need to track to all the vertices, some which one is visited, which one is not visited. So these are the drawbacks here, and main leading drawback of this particular algorithm is it cannot handle the negative edge weights. So in order to improve this drawback, or in order to give the solution for the drawback, we have the Bellman-Ford algorithm. The Bellman-Ford algorithm is also used for to find the shortest path, single source shortest path from source to each and every vertices of the graph, but it also handles the negative edge weight cycles. So there may be like edges of the negative edge weight, but no negative cycle exists. It cannot handle this negative cycle, but it can handle the negative edge weight. Bellman-Ford. Okay, so let's take an example here to understand it. Actually, it's based on the principle of relaxation also, that we have already discussed. What is the relaxation? If we are having any graph or with the negative edge, if it's coming like if it is repeating in a loop, that is a problem for the Bellman-Ford negative edge weight cycle here. So this particular algorithm handle the drawback of the Dijkstra algorithm. So this is the algorithm here. As it is mentioned here, U is the start like source node here, and V is the destination node. So we have to check the distance for each and every adjacent, and we have to take the minimum edge weight. We have to select the minimum edge weight. So K, U, and I. K is here we are taking as a source vertex, U is as the destination vertex, and I is the number of edges to be scanned concerning a vertex. So Bellman-Ford, what it says, we have to take the graph, we have to consider the weight, and we have to check it out for the source node. First start from the source node and repeat it with the help of for loop, and check it for each and every edge. For each and every edge, you have to do the relaxation with respect to the U and V vertex and W weight, and we will repeat this thing same, this procedure that we were also doing in the Dijkstra. If it is false, then return again, loop the loop, and repeat the loop. If it is true, then come outside. So with the help of example, we can understand these things. Here negative weights are given -1, -2. So we have to check it out, this particular thing here. Now what it is, we have drawn a table here in order to get the clarity. Number of edges traversed here and number of vertices traversed here. So 5 vertices are there and 4 edges are there. 5 vertices, 4 edges, right? What we have taken here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, total 5 vertices are there. So we have mentioned here in the table 5 vertices. Now number of edges which are traversed, we will mention here. So first thing that we have to start here, from source node we are starting, that is the 1. So vertex 1 we are with the starting. So first of all you have to write here, I'm just marking it 1. Now from 1 to 1, how much, like if any node starting from itself and going to itself, is there any path distance? Is it covered? No. If it is on the same position, it is not covered with any distance. Now it is going 1 to 2. So how much path it will cover? 1 to 2, 6. So right here 6, right? 1 to 3. What path it is covered? 1 to 3, 5. So this one 5. So in the table we have to write here 5. 1 to 4. Is there any direct path from 1 to 4? No, no any direct path available. So you can also draw the table for the Dijkstra also. It's up to you. First draw the table step by step, and then draw the diagram also. It will give you the better and like clarity about the answering the question, so it will be more clear to you. So if it is not, there is no any direct path available from one source vertex to any other vertex, so mention it infinity, infinity, right? There is no any direct path from 1 to 4th vertex and 5th vertex, so we have mentioned it infinity for the first step. Now next, what we have to select? Edge 2, right? So from 2 to we have to focus on one thing. We are taking each and every vertex and we have to trace it out, like in order to start with the source node, which one is the lesser value, possible value to reach up to that vertex. First we have assigned in the table all the possibilities that we can directly track from the S source node we have written. Next we have to select the next adjacent value. We are not taking the like minimum 5 is there, then we have to select this one. No, we have to select next vertex. Second vertex we are selecting here. Second edge we are selecting here. What as a second vertex we are taking here, like 2 to 1, there is no any part 2. If we are selecting the second vertex, so what is the minimum value we are getting? 1 to 2 we are not approaching. 5, 1 to 5, 5 we are tracing here, minus 2 is 3. So this is the shortest path we have to traverse here. So we have to write here what is the weight of the second vertex is there, 3. So we have mentioned 3, 2 to 3. So to reach up to the third vertex, which is a lesser value, 5 we are coming, if we are directly coming from source, that is 5 mentioned here, right? Next value is 2 to like if we are selecting the second vertex, is there any direct path that is available for 4? Yes. So what we will select over here, we will select like 1 to 6, 6 to minus 1 is 5. Yes, if we are going via the second vertex, there is a path to reach source to 4th vertex. So we have to update this infinity with the 5. Again we have to check it for the 5. Again we are checking it from the source node to 5 via 2. Is there any direct task over here? So yes, we can approach it because we have the path for the 4 now. So 1 to 2, second node, 6 is there, 6 to minus 1, 5 is there, 5 plus 3 is 8 is there. Yes, we can reach it. So replace this infinity with the 8 value. Now what we have to choose here? This one, edge value 3, that we have select. Like now we have to select here third edge. So what we have to trace? 3 to 1, 0 itself. So 3, if we are taking it via 3, we have to repeat the task. Same task, we have to repeat. The explanation is given here. You can, if you are not getting it directly from the table, if you are getting confusion, so you can see it step by step over here, right? So distance to that are possibility and how we are taking the minimum value. I have explained it line by line. You are getting the clear. You will get the clarity by seeing these steps. So if you are not on, discuss to me with the help, like we will discuss it in further with the help of some extra classes also, online classes also. So take the screenshot and compare each and everything with the help of table and this diagram. You will get the minimum shortest path you will get with the help of this Bellman-Ford algorithm. So there is a problem with the Dijkstra. It cannot handle the negative edge-weight cycle. By following the same rule, with the help of table and these steps, we can find out the shortest path algorithm for negative edge-weight also with the help of Bellman-Ford algorithm. Everything will remain same actually. This is the explanation part. You will get the clarity for each and everything from here. So take the screenshot and try it with the help of example that we've shown. We have discussed already. So in the next lecture we will start the dynamic programming. So stay tuned with the lecture series. Thank you. Have a nice day.